My name is Omri, and I will be leading this demonstration of Cardiolog Analytics and how we work. We're going to start with a short introduction, who we are, what we do, and later on dive into the demonstration. So we provide analytics and engagement solutions for Office 365. We started about 15 years ago with SharePoint on-prem, and we grew with Microsoft into the cloud. And now we provide analytics and engagement for the entirety of Office 365, including all versions of SharePoint. We operate globally with customers from every continent and from every vertical. Here you can see just a handful of our customers. So many of our customers approach us because they're putting all their time, budget, and efforts into their different Office 365 platforms, setting themselves with wonderful goals such as increased productivity or enhanced collaboration. But they don't know if any of these goals are actually being achieved because they don't know what's happening within the platform. So we try to shed some light exactly on that. What are people doing, how they're using the different platforms, and what needs to be improved. So we operate in four main pillars. The first one is to monitor. We provide in-depth analytics. In one sentence, we can show any single action that's happening within Office 365. Doesn't matter if it's scrolling down, watching a video, clicking on different links that takes you outside of SharePoint, for example. Any single action, we can record it. But we've learned that sometimes the numbers and metrics are just not enough. We want to engage with the end users, to ask for their experience, to understand what they need. And with these two types of insights, you can really help your customers to enhance their platform, and you can offer them additional services revolving around it. And lastly, we also help you to enforce security policies to make sure that no one sees what they're not supposed to see. And this is just a short schematic overview of how Cardiolog works before I dive into the demonstration itself. So first of all, we have the data source. As I said, doesn't matter which version of SharePoint it is or which application of Office 365 it is, we can monitor all of it at the same time if it's needed, and it all goes into a single report, as you'll see in a moment. Next comes the data capturing. We use different tracking mechanisms, mainly JavaScript and the APIs, to extract the data from the data source. Later on, the data is being processed and stored within Microsoft Azure. And finally, as you'll see in a moment, displayed with Power BI. So I'm going to dive into the demonstration itself, what type of analytics we can show, and how you can help your customers with it. So this is the first dashboard of Cardiolog Analytics, the usage overview. Here we can see some content revolving, some data revolving around the content, the adoption, and search. So on the far left side of my page, you can see many tabs. Each tab is a pre-built dashboard that all of our customers get from day one. So they don't have to create their dashboards from the data that we capture, although all the data is available for them if they wish to create something new or just to customize existing dashboards. To the right of that, we can find the portal tree filter. Here you can see that we are monitoring multiple environments at the same time. So if you have a customer that is currently going through a migration and they want to see what happens in comparison between the older and the newer version, we can show it all in a single report, which is super user-friendly. And then you can help them understand what needs to be transferred from the older version to the newer version and what people are actually using. So this is really SharePoint's hierarchy. And as you can see, I can drill down here all the way down to the list and library level. And I can click on any of these pages, and you will see how the entire dashboard filters itself to show me data for the requested page. So this is one way to filter the data through the different pages and sites. But let's say that you have a customer that is very interested in a content type. So for that, we have the upper tabs. As you can see, we have different content types, whether it's blogs, community sites, or document libraries. Here we can actually use multiple segmentations at the same time. So let's say you want to take a look at multiple pages, and within these pages, you want to take a look at a specific content type like discussions. You can do that very easily. Next, I'm going to full screen this table at the bottom of my screen. So here we get some basic metrics like page view, the average duration, the size, and everything else you see on my screen right now. So by default, I'm showing the most viewed pages, but I can also go the other way around and show you the least viewed pages. Here we can detect that there are some sites that are not being viewed almost at all. So now you can help your customers take action, maybe help them clean their SharePoint, archive all the irrelevant old sites, or maybe you can help them understand that there's a very important site that no one knows about, so no one accesses. So you can help them to take action and surface it. Under the adoption column, we can see the usage of SharePoint through the different departments. So if your customer wants to go through a training session, you can show them who needs it. Or on the other way around, you can go to your customer and tell him, look, these are the departments that are lacking in adoption. We can provide training. So here we can see the bottom departments. But I can also go deeper and take a look at the individual level by name, who uses and who does not use SharePoint in this case. So again, now you can have a multi-level training session for a customer where you start with the department and then you go to the individual that really need the help. But the great thing about this is that you can also scale the time to show the progress of your training sessions, for example, or for every service that you provide, actually. So at the top right corner of my page, you can see the time frame, and I can change it to anything to show me specific data. I can show data for last week, the third week of May, or the last 3 months compared to the 3 months before that. And through that, you can show progress and how you help them with your services. So we've seen so far some basic metrics, but obviously it's not enough. So seeing that a page is popular and it has a lot of page views doesn't tell us if it was easy to get to or that the user actually did something on this page. We want some in-depth metrics. So for that, we can see the visitor adoption overview. And just to take a look at a couple of metrics, we can see, for example, the single page visit rate and the average depth of visits. These metrics indicate how well the end users are actually in using these different platforms. So if the users don't understand how to use it and how to go from page to page and make their entire journey very fluent, you'll have a very high single page rate and a very low average depth of visits. So sometimes these different numbers and metrics can be very confusing for people who are not constantly using them. I mean, even seeing page views doesn't tell us much if we don't look into it. So we wanted to show you the bottom line, how much money and time is being wasted for misuse of SharePoint. So if you look at the left side of my page, you can see different attributes, and you can really change any of them for the calculation, whether it's the average salary or the storage cost. And then we can see different reasons for money being lost. For example, slow pages. How long does it take for a page to load? Or creating unused media assets. So we have customers that put a lot of effort into training videos, for example, and these videos are very expensive to produce. But sometimes they don't know that people are not actually using these videos or not really watching them. And this is a lot of money that's just going to waste. So next, we'll take a look at search. What are people searching in SharePoint? So we can see that at the bottom left side of my page, the most searched terms. And if we'll click on benefits, which is, as we can see, the most searched term, I can see that it has been searched more than 1,000 times. So 1,000 times 60 seconds per search, that's a huge waste of time for your customer. But the metric that actually worries me here is the metric at the middle top side of my page that tells us that only about half of the people that clicked on that search benefits clicked on any of the results, which means that half of them had to go and waste even more time searching for the answer elsewhere. Next, we'll take a look at the usability, the slow pages. The bottom left side of my page, we can see the pages themselves and the load time for each of them. This again really indicates the situation of the environment. Maybe it's an infrastructure thing and you can offer things to improve that. Or maybe you can discover that some sites just have so much content on them that they take a lot of time to load. And this will generally decrease the amount of people that want to use the platform if it takes a couple of seconds for each page to load. So now we'll take a look at page interaction. So up until now, we've seen, data about the pages, but we don't know yet how people interact with the data within each page, with the stuff that, we really work hard on creating. So under the page interaction, you can see the pages themselves. And again, on the left side, you can choose different pages if you want to filter that way. And let's just click on home, for example. And to the right of that, we have the page elements. So here we can see all the page elements within the page. And we can see the type. We can see here that we have an input, a button, and a link. And we can see the amount of interaction that your end users have with each of these elements. This really gives us a full picture of how people use the platform. Now we know the page use, so which pages are popular, and we know what elements people interact with in each pages. So this really gives us an in-depth view of the journey of the end users. So as you can see on the dashboard list, that there are many, many, many more that goes into in-depth SharePoint and other Office 365, Yammer, OneDrive, Teams. But obviously, I won't take you through all of them because it's a lot. But in one sentence, we can show any single action that's happening within Office 365. Doesn't matter if it's scheduling a call in Teams or watching a video on SharePoint or opening a document with OneDrive. We can really show everything. But the actual game changer here is the next piece that I'm going to show you, the Cardiolog Engage. This is a campaign tool that allows you to create a campaign to achieve any goal. And let me explain. If you want to drive adoption, sometimes the numbers and metrics are just not enough. You need to take action. And this tool allows you to do exactly that, whether it's to promote a page, notify people about a change, or just have a survey. I'll show you very quickly how you can actually create your own campaign from scratch. So first we'll choose the audience. Maybe it's everyone, telling them about the deployment of Microsoft Teams, for example. Or maybe in the beginning I have detected that a specific department, let's say the marketing users, are not really using SharePoint. So maybe I want to contact them. But maybe I don't want to contact everyone within marketing because many of them do use SharePoint. So maybe I'll contact the inactive users, people who did not visit for more than 14 days, for example. Next, we'll choose the channel that we approach them with. Maybe it's an in-app message, like a pop-up that appears on their SharePoint screen, or a header or a footer that goes on SharePoint's homepage. But for our example, marketing users who do not use SharePoint, they won't see these pop-ups. So maybe they'll get a targeted text message or an email with a link that is specifically for them. And then people will actually want to check it out instead of, getting an email that goes through the entire department or organization and the link is not really relevant. Here you can make sure that the group that you're sending the link to is a specific group that will for sure be interested in. Next, we can text and design it in any way we'd like. We'll have a title and a description. And after that, we can focus on the call to action. Maybe we want them to rate a specific feature or a Power App. We have different methods here. Or maybe we want to have a survey, ask them a question, and just receive their answer. And lastly, we are going to choose a trigger. Maybe it's scheduled next Monday morning with the CEO message of the week, or maybe it's triggered by a certain action when they are scrolling down a specific page or viewing a page, interacting with a specific feature within a page, or when they're viewing a search result, for example, for more than 45 seconds. So imagine someone just searched business data and on SharePoint, and he's scrolling through the results, not clicking on any of them because none of them seems relevant to him. And then while he's failing to find an answer, a pop-up appears on his screen asking him, hey, what went wrong? Or what are you searching for? And with these type of answers, you can really help your customers not only enhance their productivity, but to offer them a portfolio of your services to help them increase their adoption and their consumption. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching this. We are always available if